"Ha ha, then we were like, oh my God, you almost fell right in," said Katrina. Kevin smirked and shrugged, causing the rest of the family to laugh even harder. "That's the nature of the beast, baby. You sword fight on the bridge of peril, you accept the consequences of your defeat." The cousins sat around the bonfire outside of the farmhouse they grew up in, drinking and regaling each other with stories of their youth. It was a cool spring night, the sun having just set, rendering the sky a brilliant purple and orange. Katrina had just finished her story of the time that they had climbed onto a large section of timber that had toppled over a large thatch of sticks and random construction detritus, sword fighting with large sticks they had found, trying to knock one another into the tetanus pit. Joe, sitting next to Katrina, held an acoustic guitar, playing a song that sounded vaguely familiar to everyone present, although with embellishments that served to elongate it past its traditional length. Joe's older brother Nick sat directly across from Joe on the other side of the fire, holding an electric bass guitar that he played, despite it not being plugged into any sort of amplifier, rendering it essentially inaudible. "Why were we like that?" asked Nick, laughing at the audacity of their younger selves. "There were plenty of things we could have done indoors, things that wouldn't put us at risk of a hospital visit for the sake of our momentary entertainment." "Yeah, but those things weren't as fun," chimed Justin. He had been quietly laughing at the stories, nursing his beer, interjecting with wry comments every now and then. "Hey," said Joe, sitting up straighter. "Do you remember that time we stole the Declaration of Independence?" "Oh, shut up," said Katrina, laughing and shoving Joe with one arm. He didn't miss a note. "What about that time we surgically swapped faces?" joked Kevin. "You killed my son, and I underwent that surgery to bring down your whole criminal network. They took my face," he said, pausing to cover his face with his hand before dramatically pantomiming removing it, then continuing. "Off! That's all just water under the bridge then, huh? With the whole sun-killing thing?" asked Nick, laughing. "Are these Nick Cage movies you guys are doing?" asked Katrina. "You guys are joking! Remember the time I was unjustly imprisoned for killing that guy in a bar fight and got caught up in all of those convicts taking over that jumbo jet?" laughed Justin. Joe set his guitar down and reached behind the folding chair where he had been seated. He pulled out a long black tube, taking a cap off of one end. Everyone continued joking. "Remember that time I was in the Rock?" stammered Nick. "Fuck, that was a bad one." Joe pulled a long rolled-up piece of paper from the black tube, unrolling it and standing up to inspect it. The laughter died down as the cousins realized what it was that Joe had. Kevin wiped a tear of laughter from his eye, his laughter dying down as his attention turned towards Joe. "Wait, is that—" They could all see the paper illuminated by the fire. It looked like an ancient yellowed parchment, ink scrawled in perfect penmanship. There were a collection of signatures near the bottom, John Hancock leading the pack with a flamboyant flourish. After looking it over for a moment, Joe rolled it back up. Without saying a word, he casually tossed it into the fire. The aged paper ignited almost immediately, floating away in faintly glowing orange pieces into the night. Nobody said anything for a long moment. Joe sat back down in his lawn chair, picking his guitar back up and resuming the song he had been playing. Finally, it was Katrina who spoke first. "Joe, this is serious," she said gravely. She stood up and put a hand on the neck of his guitar, silencing his playing. She turned around to face everyone else around the fire. "I mean, this is crazy. Am I the only one that thinks this is crazy?" Everyone exchanged looks, unsure of what to say. Katrina turned back around to face Joe, continuing. "Joe, you've been playing Smooth by Carlos Santana and Rob Thomas all fucking night. I'm going to lose my shit." Everyone laughed. Nick and Justin simultaneously threw their empty beer cans at Joe from across the fire. Joe laughed and held up his guitar to protect his face. "How about this?" asked Joe. He began playing what was clearly the opening chords to Wonderwall. Kevin walked over to Joe, grabbed the guitar, and threw it into the fire.